Kylian Mbappe was born in a town full of crime and poverty, but against all odds he became the face of football and football's biggest superstar. One of the highest paying athletes right now is on a journey to become the best footballer world has ever seen, but did you know that throughout his career he managed to beat 3 major footballing heartbreaks that no one is talking about? How did he manage to beat them, and how did he manage to escape the poverty so easily and become the future Ballon d'Or winner? This is the story of Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe was born in 1998 in Bondy, a part of Paris that was home to working-class immigrants. His father was at the time a coach in the local club, where Mbappe made his first football steps at the age of 6. He quickly became known for his exceptional speed and ball handling. With his style of play, he reminded of Cristiano Ronaldo, who was his childhood idol. At several years later, he was selected to train at Clairefontaine, the National Academy for Elite Football Players. He spent 2 years there, and a number of European giants such as Real Madrid, Arsenal, Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain expressed an interest in signing him, but in 2013 at age 14, he signed with Monaco. The club had beat competition from Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, who was very involved in efforts to sign him. When Mbappe made his debut with Monaco's first team in December 2015, he was just a few weeks shy of his 17th birthday, which made him at the time the youngest first-team player in the club's history, surpassing a record set by Thierry Henry. However, Mbappe scored only 1 goal that season, but that 1 goal was enough to beat another record set by Thierry Henry for a club's youngest goal scorer. Seeing how good of a player they have in their club, Monaco offered a 3-year contract to Mbappe, which he accepted. But the next season was the season when the whole world could see the potential of Kylian Mbappe. Next season, Monaco built a young team around Mbappe that would later go down in the history of world football. Some of the names are João Moutinho, Fabinho, Bernardo Silva, and of course captain Radamel Falcao, with whom Mbappe developed an incredible partnership from the very beginning. Mbappe soon proved to be the main player and the team's leader. In December, he scored his first hat-trick in the cup, and shortly after that his second hat-trick, but this time in the league. He also presented himself in the best light in the Champions League, where Monaco had a historic run and Mbappe scored 6 goals. Monaco reached the semi-finals that year after knocking out Dortmund in the quarter-finals, where Mbappe presented his iconic goal celebration to the world for the first time. Although they were eliminated by Juventus in the semi-final, that couldn't stop Monaco from winning the league and dethroning PSG, who won the league 4 times in a row, and Mbappe finished the season with 26 goals and 11 assists, which enabled him his first national team call-up in March. As they achieved historic success, many Monaco players were noticed by European clubs, so Monaco literally fell apart the season after that. Mbappe expressed his desire to stay in France, so an offer arrived at Mbappe's door that he just couldn't refuse. At the time, Paris was deconstructing the team and they wanted to build a team full of stars. Earlier that year, they spent 220 million on Neymar and were ready to spend another 180 million on Mbappe, but for the sake of financial fair play, it wasn't possible, so they sent an offer from Paris for a 1-year loan with the right to purchase Mbappe next summer. And that was it. At just 18 years old, Mbappe played in the best club in France side by side with Neymar, ready to conquer the world. It didn't take long for Mbappe to shine in PSG, because already on his debut he managed to score a goal in victory against Metz, and he did the same in his debut in Champions League against Celtic. The season started incredibly good for Paris. 27 goals in just 6 appearances in the group stage of the Champions League, with Mbappe scoring 4 goals, making him the youngest player to score 10 goals in the Champions League. But good mood in Paris did not last long, as they were knocked out in the first knockout stage by Real Madrid. Being knocked out of the Champions League helped Paris to concentrate on the domestic championship, which they won with the help of Mbappe's 13 goals, and they also won the Coupe de France, where Mbappe scored in the final. The season ended quite successfully to Paris, and everyone saw what kind of a player Kylian Mbappe really is, and everyone asked only one question: if he did it in the domestic league, can he do it on the world's biggest stage? Entering the year of the World Cup, France was one of the first favorites to win. Although 2 years ago they lost to Portugal in the final of the Euros, this time something was different for France. They had Kylian Mbappe on their side. Didier Deschamps gave him the number 10 and the show could begin. They easily passed the group stage and Mbappe scored 1 goal against Peru, which was enough to become the youngest player to score a goal for France at the World Cup, but the luck was short-lived because in the round of 16, France received an opponent that they didn't wanted. Fate decided that the two probably best football players at that moment Messi and Mbappe, would meet in the round of 16. The match lived up to all expectations, and after a great drama, France went through with a score of 4-3, and Mbappe totally stole the show by scoring 2 goals and winning a penalty. Mbappe proved why they believe in him so much in France and why he is the future of football, but the work was far from done. The victory in the quarter-final against Uruguay and the semi-final against Belgium allowed Mbappe to show the world that he is ready for his name to be written head-to-head with all the greatest names of football at only 19 years old. Croatia stood in his way in the final. 20 years after they won their first World Cup, France had a chance to do it again.
Here's Mbappe! Oh my word!
World champion and goal in the final. Mbappe became the second teenager to score a goal in the final of the World Cup. The first was of course Pelé. Mbappe also received the award for the best player of the World Cup, but that is nothing compared what was about to come. Mbappe was just warming up. After winning the World Cup and Copa Trophy, award for best young player in the world, Mbappe was no longer considered a kid who is the future of football. He was the main engine of PSG now. Without any drop of form, Mbappe continued to shine. Although PSG got relegated again in the round of 16 of Champions League, in an embarrassing 3-1 defeat to Manchester United, they continued their terror in the league by winning it with Mbappe's best season to date. 33 goals and 7 assists in the league were enough for Mbappe to be named Player of the Year in France, even though he had Neymar in the team next to him. Nike immediately offered him a 10-year contract worth 18 million euros per year, and everything looked great for Mbappe. His career was on the rise and it seemed that there were no bad moments for him, but little did he know that he was about to experience one of the 3 major heartbreaks. The next season started off great for Mbappe as usual, and even though he was out for a month due to injury, it didn't affect his form at all, as he continued to score goals with the ease he was used to. Then the pandemic happened. The season ended early and PSG was declared the champion of France, and Mbappe was top scorer, while on the other side the cup competitions were postponed. Later that year, PSG managed to win both domestic cups and complete the treble, but PSG was in a situation that would change the club forever. They were in the Champions League final for the first time in their history, and Mbappe was about to complete football with this trophy. But then, something happened that no one expected. Mbappe suffered an ankle injury, and although he was in the squad and performed well, he was simply not at his full capacity. Bayern won the Champions League with Kingsley Coman's goal, and Mbappe was found in very hard position, and although everyone thought that that loss would affect his game, Mbappe came back stronger than ever. He was again the main player of PSG, and in that season he also scored his 100th goal for the French club, but that's not the only thing Mbappe did that season. He also became the youngest player ever to score 20 goals in the Champions League, and with 3 goals he knocked out Messi's Barcelona out of Champions League. And just like that, when everyone thought that Mbappe would lose his momentum, he proved everyone wrong, and he proved that he is a big game player. Although the season was bad for Paris after they were eliminated in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and in the race for the league title Lille came out as a winner, Mbappe still got only better and better, winning the award for Player of the Season in France with Golden Boot. But what Mbappe didn't know was that he was about to encounter his second major heartbreak. Entering the year of Euros, France was once again the favorite to win it after winning the World Cup, and Mbappe was full of strength and confidence to bring another trophy to France. They passed the group with minor difficulties, but that wasn't surprising considering that they were in a group with Germany, Portugal and Hungary. What was strange was that Mbappe didn't score any goals in the first 3 games. In the round of 16 they met Switzerland, and everyone thought that it would be an easy win for France, and that's how it looked, because although Mbappe played badly and missed his chances, France was 3-1 in front, but 2 late goals from Switzerland took the match to overtime and eventually to penalties. All penalty takers from both teams were successful, and it was up to Mbappe to score the last penalty. If he scores, France stays in the game. If he misses, France is out. It was very heartbreaking for Mbappe. From the hero of the nation, he became the culprit for France's early departure from the Euros. And it seemed that it would affect Mbappe badly, but then he decided to prove everyone wrong again. Entering the new season, Mbappe had the opportunity to win the Nations League against Spain, and in the final Mbappe managed to score the winning goal and help France to win the new trophy. And you would help me if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. This trophy was good for Mbappe because it helped him bounce back ahead of what would turn out to be a record-breaking season for Mbappe. But PSG had a new star in the team, Lionel Messi. When they presented the world the new iconic trio, Messi, Mbappe and Neymar, everyone thought that PSG would finally win the Champions League with such players. But something just didn't click. Their tactic of having 3 superstars in the team didn't work. And even though there was more and more talk about how Mbappe would replace Paris with Madrid, it didn't affect him too much because that season he was the player with the most goals and assists in the league, and he eventually won the league as a player of the season. Seeing that Mbappe is more and more serious about going to Real Madrid and becoming the first star of the Spanish team, PSG made an offer at the end of the season that he simply couldn't refuse. 50 million euros per year and 300 million euros signing bonus is something that shocked the public. And in addition, Mbappe was offered the right to make decisions related to the management of the club. And that's how Mbappe became the highest paid player in the world. And although everyone thought that the fame and money would get into his head, he continued to do what he does the best: scoring goals. The season started off great, but in December the World Cup was about to be played in Qatar, and Mbappe had a chance to redeem himself for being the culprit of early relegation in the Euros. He scored goal after goal, first against Australia, then 2 against Denmark and 2 against Poland in the round of 16. In the quarterfinals they kicked out England on penalties after Harry Kane missed the last penalty. In the semi-finals Morocco was waiting for them, but they easily won 2-0, and then what followed was the best football match ever that took place in the final of the World Cup in Qatar. Argentina against France. Messi versus Mbappe. Argentina quickly took 2-0 lead, and it stayed like that until about the 80th minute, when Mbappe just stole the show. A goal from the penalty spot and an incredible goal right after that, and Mbappe won the extra time for France. Messi puts Argentina in the lead again, but then Mbappe did something incredible. Another penalty and Mbappe completed his hat-trick in the World Cup final. And although everything looked like Mbappe would win the World Cup for the second time at only 24 years old, what he didn't know was that he was about to experience the third and final heartbreak in his career. The match went to penalties, and although Mbappe scored his penalty, it wasn't enough and France lost the World Cup final. Mbappe won the award for the best player, but the individual awards were not what he wanted. And although he was devastated after defeat, there was not much time to cry because he had to return to Paris. In March, he was named captain of the national team, and he ended the season with the 4th consecutive Golden Boot and Player of the Season award with 41 goals and 10 assists. The current season for him is great because at the moment I'm making this video he already has 21 league goals, and even though he is a king of Paris, he apparently made the biggest move in his career so far, but that is yet to be confirmed. Real Madrid offered him a salary of 26 million euros and signing bonus of 130 million euros, and as the media reports, Mbappe agreed. Although it is significantly less than what he earned in Paris, Mbappe is currently working on achieving his last dream, which is to win the Champions League. Even though this guy has already written his name in the Football Hall of Fame, this is definitely still just the beginning for him. And now when Messi and Ronaldo have practically finished their careers, only one man is worthy to continue what the two of them started.